Join connection. Hello there. Okay, I'm just gonna give this a couple minutes, see if anybody can join on, and just making sure our video and audio and everything's working correctly. So.
3 viewers. Let's see who they are.
We're figuring this out. It's our first
This
time.
is our first one, so bear with us. If you can hear us, send us a message and say that you're watching and that you can hear us okay. Hey Barb, I see that you're watching. Hey Henry. Hey Aaron, I know you. How are you? Hope you're good. Hey, how are things going? Ask us some questions if you got them. Awesome, thank you Barb.
That's good news. We were hoping it was going to work okay. So, we've got the laptop down here, which is just out of view, but that way we can see a little bit better for any questions and comments.
Looks like we got 5 people on so far.
No, it's 11:02. Yeah. Okay.
So if nobody has any questions, we'll probably just go over some general stuff, and then if you have questions, just put them in whenever, and we'll see them and we'll go back and answer them.
Okay.
Thanks, Henry.
All right, well, I guess we'll start off just by doing some introductions. I'm Alicia. I've been with Crum for almost 10 years now. I am the HR and recruiting manager, so I've been in the HR department since I started, and then after a couple years with Crum, really got into recruiting a little bit more, and so today, we just wanted to come on and share facts about Crum, and then answer any questions that you guys have, and really just tell you a little bit more about what we have to offer here. And this is Hannah.
Hi, everybody. Like she said, I'm Hannah. I've been with Crum. I think I joined at the end of March of this year. So, and I brought with me some experience from other trucking companies. So I know several of you are on here watching that I know. So, hey! But we just want to make sure that everybody knows everything about Crum, and just, we're different. We're different than most trucking companies. We have that local feel that a lot of people are looking for, but we also have that big feel whenever it comes to the freight that we have. We know we work with customers that are nationally known, and we have that capacity that those big mega carriers have, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that, as well as they know that we have those benefits of those small local companies too. So
Okay. Well, like she said, we do have that small town feel because Crum is a family-owned and operated company. They started out about 1963, kind of started out as more of like a farming outfit, hauling grain and that kind of stuff. And then really when the business started to take off is when they took on some more automotive freight. So we are located in Batesville, Indiana. So if you're not familiar with where Batesville at, we are right in between Cincinnati and Indianapolis. So not too far. We're just kind of really in the southeast corner of Indiana, and it's accessible to, like I said, Cincy, Indy, and even Louisville pretty easily. So most of some of the questions that I think we hear for just people calling in wanting to know more about the company, and a lot of times it's just people in general that aren't familiar with the trucking industry at all. So some people just looking to get their CDL want to know more. So something that we have done for quite a few years is what we call our finishing program. So the finishing program is really something we put in place because we recognized that need for just helping train drivers into the industry. So we ourselves aren't a driving school right now. We work with a lot of the local truck driving schools, whether they're like a private truck driving school or if they have some sort of educational relationship with certain colleges. They have their own technology branches and that kind of stuff. So once you decide you're interested in becoming a truck driver, if you called us, we'd say, okay, you want to make sure you get your CDL first. So once you get that CDL and you're done with school, then you can come on and go through what we call a finishing program. So our finishing program is a training program that kind of is it's kind of set to fit different types of people. So that could mean drivers that maybe they were a driver back in 2000 and only drove for 1 year and then decided to get out of the industry, and then here we are 20 years later, they want to get back into that industry. So it's been a while, and if they've maintained their CDL, then maybe they just need a couple weeks of training to brush the dust off, so to speak. And then finishing program is also for those that, like I said, are just completely new to the industry, looking to get into it, and just freshly graduated driving school, but maybe they've never even drove a manual truck before, personal vehicle. So our finishing program is about 4 to 8 weeks long, just depending on what type of experience you have. And the way that we run our program is it's solely as like a training situation. So we want our students to be driving, and then our driver trainers in the passenger seat on duty the entire time, helping coach and answer any questions that the students have. So the more drive time, obviously, that the students get, the more experience they're going to get. So that's something that we try to give a different variety of, because just looking at the different types of freight that we have, all of our driver trainers currently they're on dedicated routes, and so there's quite a variety within that. We've got one trainer that leaves out on Sunday, goes out to Arizona, and then comes back on Thursday. So if you go with that trainer, you're going to get a lot of experience really using those hours and learning how to run your clock out and make sure you can get all the possible drive time that you can in a day. And we've got other trainers that do some more local freight, where you might be hitting 3 or 4 docks a day and getting to practice backing a lot. We've got another trainer where does more of like a regional type route, leaving out on Sunday, maybe going down to North Carolina, and then coming back the next day. So on that trip down North Carolina, you might get a lot of really good shifting practice, as you're going through all the hills and the mountains, and just learning those different skills for all the different types of terrain that you're going through. So
those trainers also take time. Like if there's certain things that you need to work on, like if you need more help backing, they'll take the time to work with you on those things. So it's also tailored to what you need and the experience that you have bringing in too.
Right, because we have the capabilities here at the yard, and we have like an in-house trainer that sometimes maybe somebody really had experience and is really good shifting because they were used to that, but just backing is an issue. And any of you that have been in the trucking industry, it's not just something that you just pick up right overnight. That it takes some time and takes experience, and sometimes it takes a while for the light bulb to go on of, oh, now I understand, the correlation with the truck and the trailer, and how each little turn will result. So a little bit more about the finishing program. As far as pay goes, it's a flat rate pay of $600 a week. And then once you're done with the finishing program, you go to our full rate pay. Crum is a company that pays based on percentage, which I believe last time I checked, somebody said that it was right around 7 to 10% of trucking companies in the industry pay percentage. And if you guys aren't familiar with what percentage is, just to kind of give you a quick example. So I always tell this, if you are to do a load from, let's just say, our yard down to Nashville, Tennessee and back in a day, if that load pays Crum $1,000, then you'll start off getting 26% of that total revenue. So you'll get $260 for that particular day. So that's how the percentage works, is it's just a total of that gross revenue. So, and 26% is the starting rate as far as if you have 1 year of experience or no experience coming in, that's where you'll stay. And then we do pay more based on your years of service. So, if you have 2 years experience, then you're going to bump up 3 years, 5 years. You'll see that increase as time goes. So,
the cool thing about percentage-based pay is whenever the company gets those rate increases, the driver sees those too. So once we get a raise, you get a raise too.
So, yeah. And just kind of wanted to talk about our dispatch boards a little bit next. So we have what we call our years of service dispatch board, and it is dispatched based on years of service. So on that particular board, that's primarily how Crum has just run things for everything. That was our only dispatch board up until the end of last year, basically. So on that years of service dispatch board, we have a lot of dedicated freight and a lot of dedicated customers. Probably 85% of the drivers that are on that board are dedicated. The type of routes that you'll see, we've got about probably 20% local, where drivers are home every day. About 45% regional, where you might be out 2 or 3 nights a week. Somewhere around 30% of what we call long haul, where you might be out 4 to 5 nights a week. And then the longest run we have is West Coast, where you could be out up to 9 days. But that's only about 5% of all of our freight. And I believe those specific lanes are dedicated. So that's just something you might not see as often if you're really interested in it, just to let you know. So, but that variety, 95% of our drivers, they're home once a week or more. Now, starting off with us, we basically, I said 85% is dedicated. So that other percentage, you're going to be on what we call the open board, which could be just doing a variety of those runs. So you might be doing local runs 1 week, and then you might be doing a long haul the next week. It just depends on what's available. So even though I said we have those different different types of lanes, we don't necessarily hire in for local runs or regional only runs. Basically hiring in, you're going to be doing, like I said, a variety of those items. So you'd have to be okay with possibly being out for a week. So that's our years of service dispatch board. When you go onto that board, it does have a $1,000 a week minimum, so that as long as you're on the open board and within that first year, and don't turn down any load offers or call in sick, and you show up for work, you're going to have that minimum of $1,000 a week. So that's basically the years of service board in a nutshell. And then we also have another board, what we call our specialized dispatch board, that I'll let Hannah tell you a little bit about.
So our specialized dispatch board is servicing our Toyota forklift customer out of Seymour, Indiana. All of those loads are actually preloaded there. We have 2 employees that's their main job, is strapping those forklifts down. That freight is all of their finished forklifts going to their direct ship locations or their dealer network. Most of them are going to their dealer network. So if you can imagine along like interstates and major highways, those dealers, that's where those loads are going to. We have previously done a lot of Toyota's inbound freight with like their parts and things like that they use to make the forklifts, but they awarded us their outbound with their finished forklifts because our owner has recently purchased J-Track trailers, which are specialized trailers that allow us to strap in equipment much like you would on a flatbed trailer. It's just a regular drive-in trailer with 2 basically rails or tracks that allow us to put plates in the trailer that you're able to strap in and use straps. So the only thing that the driver is really responsible for on unloading is just taking those straps off and then just placing them in the bin so that we keep our straps. But you're paid for your stops. Generally those loads that we average about 2 to 3 stops per load. And they can go anywhere. So there's no dedicated routes on that board. We can see all 48 states. In the past 6 months, we've seen a lot of those go to, just a lot of them have gone to Texas, Florida, I think Pennsylvania, North Carolina. I think Michigan, we've started to see a little bit of uptick in loads going to Michigan. But we spread those out. The dispatch team does a really good job of spreading out those loads so that not everybody's going to the Northeast, because we know that not many of you enjoy that. So we understand that, and we try to, make sure that everybody gets a little even playing field there. But with that board, it's a $1,400 weekly minimum, and that includes your stop pay of, I think your first stop, you're paid $30, and then each additional stop is an additional $50 to $61 for just taking off those straps and helping out with taking those off. Am I missing anything there?
I don't think so. $1,400 minimum. So
yeah.
And
most of those drivers that are around within like a 60-mile radius of our terminal, they're still able to see weekly home time with the way that freight's routed too. So that home time is still there with the specialized dispatch board too.
But I don't know if you did mention that we are able to hire drivers that aren't necessarily in that radius. You'll just see more of a long haul as opposed to like the 14 to 21 day home time range if you're not from around our area. So because like she said, those routes, they're going everywhere. So and in pretty common areas, that's where if we're able to hire someone that's, like for example, she said we do a lot of Dallas, Texas. So if you live in Dallas, Texas, and we're frequently down through that area, there's a possibility that we'd be able to get you home, every 14 days or something like that. So, so that's kind of our 2 different dispatch boards. Just a little bit more about us, as far as, like the different types of trucks that we have. We've primarily been like a Volvo fleet for quite a while. And more recently, a couple years ago, we bought a batch of Kenworths. And then, last year we bought quite a few Peterbilts. And from here on out, probably for the near future at least, we still have plans to buy quite a few more Peterbilts. Primarily, they've always been around 10 speeds. We got a couple, 13 speeds thrown in the mix, but it's typically been a 10 speed. Cummins engine in the trucks, but more recently this year we have bought some automatic trucks. So even though we do have some automatic trucks and plan to still buy more, you want to make sure that you don't have that automatic restriction on your license when you come on with us, because you'll likely be in a Volvo in a 10 speed. So and if you're someone who maybe is working with a company and maybe you drove an automatic for a year at the company you're with, and have that restriction, we're able to, going back to that finishing program, we're able to help get you that training and that experience you need in a manual so that you can get that automatic restriction removed. So, and then we've got just a little more about like our terminal. So we have a brand new shop that we built, I think started construction back in 2017. And there's a picture behind me of the shop. So you can kind of see that was one of the newer pictures. This shop, it has an inspection bay in it so that each time our drivers come back to the yard, they go through the inspection bay and the driver does a walk around of the outside of the truck and trailer. And then a technician actually goes in our full length pit and goes underneath the truck and does the inspection of underneath. So, listening for air leaks, different things like that. So, so that's something that really kind of helps out as far as maintenance goes, and it makes sure that, we're catching any little things coming in and resulting in less problems for you out on the road later on is that goal. So, an inspection bay, we've got lifts, and then it's, like I said, it's like a state-of-the-art shop. We've got heated floors and LED lighting, and each technician has their own little area with everything that they would need. So on like the air reels and everything else. So, and then as far as our offices, the terminal here, we just are one terminal here in Batesville. So we also renovated our entire building. So here you'll see we've got a little fitness center, and that way if you ever want to work out here while you're here, you can. We've got a driver lounge, and we have, brand new bathrooms. So that includes 2 bathrooms with showers. So, sometimes we hire drivers that, are still pretty close, but maybe they're doing some local runs that week, and if they live maybe an hour and a half away, they don't want to drive home every night. So a lot of drivers, they just might stay here at the yard because we've got, a full, beautiful kitchen, full, microwave, stove, refrigerator, all that kind of stuff. Anything you would need, we've got. So, so that's just a little bit more about the actual terminal itself. As far as some of the benefits go, we offer vacation time of once you've been with us for 6 months, you get 5 days paid vacation. And then at the 1 year mark, you get 10 days paid vacation. And then as your years of service increases later on, then that'll increase as well. Most trucking companies, if you're familiar with the insurance, ours is at the benchmark for the trucking industry or above. And, we ourselves here have Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield at the moment, which is pretty widely accepted. And we actually, Crum, they contribute to an HSA. If you have a health savings account, they'll contribute to that. And we have a retirement account, 401k, where Crum will contribute up to 2% of what you contribute, that matching. And then we have, so like I said earlier, we do have our own little fitness center, little gym here, but we do also offer gym membership reimbursements for some of the local gyms. If you go and get a membership through there, it's based upon your usage. And we have, like a pet policy, passenger rider policy. And for those of you that maybe are coming to us after school, we do have tuition reimbursement as well. And then safety bonuses each quarter. If you have your hazmat endorsement, it's $550 a quarter. If you don't have your hazmat endorsement, then it's $450 a quarter. We don't really haul a lot of hazmat. I think only about 2% of all of our freight could be considered hazmat, but just kind of want to reward you that if you do carry that license or that endorsement on your license, at least you're gonna get something for it each quarter, whether you run or not. And if you do run, then you get an extra 2% on that specific load. So, some of the other benefits that we have as far as just working for a smaller family-owned and operated company is we've got somebody here in dispatch 24/7, And then there's also somebody out in the shop 24/7. So, you know, if something happens and you need to contact somebody, somebody's here. And it's also very helpful for a lot of the drivers that park here at the terminal. Most of the drivers do park here because the way that our freight's set up, a lot of it is round trip. And that way, you know, if you're coming in at 4:30 in the morning to head out and you notice that, you know, something's wrong with the tire on the trailer or something like that, you know, you're able to zoom on over to the shop there or have them come out to you and basically help change that tire before you get out on the road. So, what kind of other information do
We've got
people want to know? We got some questions.
Ben's on there asking questions.
If he can have a job at Crum. Okay. Yep, Vince, you can. And I see Daniel's comment there too. So I'll have to go back and look and see just exactly what the communication is there. Likely we try to contact everybody a couple times, so I'm wondering if maybe there was a wrong phone number or something like that. So we'll have to look for that after this. But what other kind of questions do you guys have? Anybody have questions?
I know that a lot of the people in there that I see that I know are familiar with turnover rates in the industry, and as far as I know, Crum has one of the lowest. The first driver that was ever hired as a company driver is still here, if that tells you anything at all. Last year, the turnover rate was what?
24%.
Yeah, an industry average is like between 90 and 100. It fluctuates between there. So it's unbelievable. When people come here, they don't leave.
Well, and a lot of times we try to, you know, in this recruiting process, you know, a lot of times we try to tell everybody the worst case scenario. So if they see that worst case scenario, and it's not, we don't try to scare people off, but you know, if they see that worst case scenario and that's okay for them, that works, then if that happens, then they're going to be happy and we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
So, and we do face-to-face, we try to do face-to-face interviews with everybody that we can, you know, just because it gives you an opportunity to come in and see the terminal and get to meet us and, you know, just kind of, we want to make sure that's going to be a good fit, basically. So. American Showa. What other kind of questions you guys have? And hopefully you're enjoying our slideshow here. We just thought we'd throw just some different pictures up there, so better than the white wall background for you.
So we had a question submitted through a message about what Crum offers owner-operators.
Okay.
So
so we do have about 30, I think we have 35 owner-operators in our fleet. Currently we've got around 160 drivers altogether. And owner-operators, for those that aren't too familiar, basically they can come on with us and their percentage is 71% starting out. And you know, we fund the escrow, $2,000. All of our owner-operators, they're able to use, you know, like our fuel cards, so that way they can still get the discount that we get out on the road. And then, you know, parking spaces here if they want to park here. And then basically the owner-operators, depending on which dispatch board they choose to be on, but something that I've heard is different than other places is on our years of service dispatch board in particular. So if we have an owner-operator start on the 12th and then a company driver start on the 19th, that owner-operator, they're going to hold that spot on the 12th. So they'll have that years of service pick right before that company driver that started on the 19th. A lot of times owner-operators will call in and say, well, the company trucks are getting all the business and they're starving out us independent contractors. Well, you know, on that particular years of service board, that's not the case. It just simply goes by your years of service is how you're dispatched. So I think that's something that a lot of our independent contractors have enjoyed because, you know, you've got a spot and, you know, you're not an employee, but you're basically, you know, you still have that feel of being part of the Crum family and being part of the business, basically. So, yeah. That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have many more.
That was the
messaged
only
in.
one that messaged in.
Okay. Well, we'll just give it maybe another minute, see if anybody else has any other questions. But
And if there are things that we didn't talk about in this live, we're planning on doing more. So if there's things that topics that you want us to talk about, even if it's just industry wide and how it relates to Crum and you want to know, we're open to researching more things on how we operate just in the industry in general. If you guys want to know that, just send us messages and we'll do our best to answer them.
yeah, other things we might do is, you know, hopefully next we'll maybe do like give you a little tour of our terminal so you can see everything, and then, you know, we could probably even spend a whole session just on the shop. So, well, if you are interested, give us a call. So, basically, if you're watching this on Facebook, then you have access to message us on Facebook. All of our information on that business page is there. The phone number is, basically it shows for recruiting, like our extension is 92. When you call in to that general recruiting extension, you're either going to get Hannah or myself. So, and then if you wanted to fill out an application, right there on our website of www.crumtrucking.com, there is a little link that says driver application, and our applications are through 10th Street. So a lot of times if you filled out a application through 10th Street with another company before, normally when you go in, it will pre-populate all that information for you. So then it takes a little bit less time to fill out an application. So, but just go through and make sure that when you do that, you know, make sure you update phone numbers and anything else that may have changed since the last time you filled one out. So, alrighty. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. And like I said, if you have any more questions, just feel free to give us a call.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah.